Good morning, everybody. I think we're going to have a beautiful Friday. From what I can gather, the temperature is going to be in the 90s today and tomorrow. So I guess that's beautiful. It's a little bit warm actually, but it's going to be good for us to be able to get out and do some things, and I would encourage that we do that. Today we were actually going to have you hear from our land use people, but we'll probably move that to next week. I thought it was important going into this stage 3 that we're going to open up tomorrow that I talk to you just a little bit about what that means, and especially talk to you about some activities and events that we are trying to do our very best to see that we can experience as a community during this coming summer. So let me talk to you about what those are going to be, and then I want to talk to you about what our expectations are going to be of one another as we go into this. We have opened the playgrounds, and we want to make sure everybody's aware of that, and we feel like as we have done some research and been advised by those who are in play, our understanding is that the sun is somewhat of a natural disinfector, and playgrounds are actually about one of the safest places we can have right now. And so we opened those up yesterday, and those are available for use. I would suggest again, and with each one of these things, the suggestion is going to be that children not just be sent to any of these places or events, but that they have either a parent or a guardian over the age of 18 who's there to just kind of supervise and make sure things stay the way that they need to be. We are going to open the splash pad this coming Monday, June 1st. City Hall will open up on June 1st so that you can come in here if you feel you need to. I would still suggest that when you can do things online or such, that we continue to do that as much as possible. I think that will be a good thing to do for the coming months actually. We are going to try to do movies in the park. We're trying to put together some kind of a celebration for the 4th of July, and we're shooting to do our Chubbuck Days, even though all of these will be substantially different events than they've been in the past. Now let me talk to you about some of the things that we're going to have as expectations of each other as we go into this. We're being told that for the foreseeable future we need to continue to engage in the physical distancing of at least 6 feet. That's going to create a little bit of a challenge, but I think if we work together on that, we can do it. As we've talked about how that will look at movies in the park, we recognize that family groups can be together, but the family groups need to make sure that they physically distance at 6 feet. We want you to do the very best you can with that. We're going to do the first one, and it's going to be a bit of a test run. I've had a lot of people say that we don't know if people will be able to govern themselves, I guess is the way to put it. I want you to know that as your mayor, I have a lot of great confidence in our community and what we can do. So let's just cooperate with each other, and that physical distancing is going to be something that each one of us are going to have to be aware of and accomplish that the best we can. There's been a lot of discussion about the wearing of face coverings. We are not going to require that, but if you are more comfortable with that, you are more than welcome to do that. A really important thing is if you are sick or if there's sickness in your home, I would tell you that it wouldn't be good for you to come and participate with these events. I think being sick that's an obvious. I don't know how you are, but when I'm sick, that's where I want to be, is at home. But even if you have sickness in your home, they tell us that that's one of the ways that this can spread, and so we would suggest that if there is sickness in your home, that you strongly consider not participating with these events. Practice of good hand hygiene, and that means washing your hands often, using a sanitizer when you can't get to scrubbing of your hands, and then they tell us to be very careful and try not to touch your eyes, nose, and your mouth. You need to cover your coughs and sneezes. They tell us to do that into our elbow rather than into our hand, that would be more sanitary. And one of the things, I almost hate saying this, but it almost needs to be said, and that is that each of these things you will participate at your own risk. There's always the complication of that if there was some illness in the community, that these events could cause some community spread. And so if you're not comfortable participating with these events, I would suggest you don't, because there certainly will be a risk with it, but we believe that it's a risk that's manageable if we do the things that we're asked to do with it. I just want you to know, as your mayor, I've listened to a lot of you who've expressed that the concern of us not doing anything community-wide with events. So that's the reason. That's been kind of the push behind this. I got a hold of the governor's office last week, and I was concerned about all the events being canceled and the instruction that we were given, and I think that this was a wonderful instruction personally. They said to use common sense and to do the best we can. Now, I want to make sure that we don't think that that means that we aren't required to do the things that are asked of us. Do the best we can means we need to be aware of the requirements and be willing to do those things. The best we can as a city, as a community of Chubbuck, is to do the things we're being asked to do because there's a reason for them. I just want you to know that I have great confidence that we can. Now, with all of that being said, we need to understand that if we start having these events and somehow we can't have the cooperation we need, or there's more problems with them than we had anticipated, we may need to cancel them. And as a matter of fact, we've been told that that's got to be part of the planning of these events, is a plan for cancellation, because they keep telling us that there's a possibility of a second wave. And if that happened, we could find ourselves almost back to the stay-home order, or even to that. And if that happened, obviously these events would need to be canceled. So we all need to understand that. Those of us who will be participating, those who will be planning, and those who will be doing all of the work that it takes to make these events happen, there's going to be a lot of work go into those, but we need to recognize that even at the very last minute, some of these events, or all of them even, could be canceled. So we're going to do our very best, and we're asking you to do the same. We have great confidence that this community can come together and do very well in doing the things we've been asked to do. So again, let's look forward to the things we can do together. Let's all cooperate. If you have some comments, if you have concerns, feel free to let us know. We want to make sure that people are heard at this point in time. But the last thing I want to say is that it's really important, whatever the event is, and there's a lot of things going in our community, not just things that are being sponsored by the city. If you're not comfortable participating with a particular event, my counsel to you would be just don't participate. And that's if you feel safe or not doing that. But if you feel safe, if you feel that you want to come, you are more than welcome and invited to participate with these things. So just grateful to be with you, grateful to be part of this community, and I'll see you again in another week or two.